we go. Got it. Hello, Rebel Writers. We are live. Please say hello in the comments, whether you are watching with us live right now on Facebook or catching the replay. Let us know you're here. I am here with one of my favorite humans on the planet, Misha Safran. She is an educator and an author, and we're going to have a quick chat today. She's got a few things going on that I'm pretty excited about.
Wait, you just said I'm an author.
I did.
That's so cool.
How does that feel?
That was pretty amazing. I've heard it a couple times. I've had interviews this week and I heard it a couple times, but that was real. I didn't hear it like succinct like that.
Yeah, it hits. It hits differently, doesn't it?
All right, I gotta start crying already.
No.
I told you I wasn't gonna cry.
I know. That's okay. Crying is allowed here. I want to track the comments here, so I'm gonna get it. There we go. Oh, and Ahmed's here. Hi, Ahmed.
Hi, Mama.
Yes, let us know you're here. Say hello. So many of you know Misha. She has been a Rebel writer for a few years now. She was one of my clients in the Write Your Way Home program. She is a dear friend and colleague. We've worked together in multiple ways. And she is launching her new book this Sunday, April 30th. And we're going to have a big party and we're going to give you all those details. Oh, there's a sneak peek of what that book is. You may also notice that she's in a little sling.
Yeah.
So she did recently have some, what is it, rotator cuff surgery?
It was supposed to be a one rotator cuff tear repair. And when they went in, they discovered two tears, two different rotator cuff tears. They also discovered a bicep tear. And then I apparently had a frozen shoulder. And they had to shave some arthritic scar tissue under the collarbone. So instead of a 2-hour surgery, it was a 3-hour surgery.
So, yeah.
It hurts a little
So
bit.
we're all going to send Misha's shoulders some healing and just, yeah, the amazingness at showing up, still healing, still recovering. And you are really birthing this amazing new book. Why don't you show us that cover again? Let's see. It's such a beautiful cover. Look at that. So this is a teacher's companion, how to center empathy and emotional well-being for yourself and your students.
Now, one really cool blurb on the bottom of it by Renee Zukin.
Oh, yeah.
It says, this book is just the medicine needed to keep oneself centered and mindful as we navigate the changing educational landscape. Renee Zukin.
Yeah, that's me. And every word is true. So here's what I know. Here's what I know about Misha and her new book. That it's really a compilation of her heart and soul and the big dream she has for our educational landscape, for our teachers and the staff members and all the adults in the school who are really doing the difficult, challenging work of taking care of our kids. And I know that because I've read it. I know
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Even I know it's not supposed to be read that way, but she had to because I needed her to help me with the edits.
Right.
And so, she wanted to.
I did want to.
Okay. Phew.
Okay. But let me tell you, before we talk, because I want to talk a little bit about process, right? Because we are Rebel writers and everybody here has a stake in watching others create and produce and publish their books. We absolutely love that. And there are a lot of educators here in our midst, current, previous, and you know, it's not easy. I've been in and out of the classroom multiple times myself at different times in my life. And, you know, post-COVID era is also a new and changing landscape. And I know that going through your book, right, it's not just you don't just sit down and read it, but it really takes you through, and you can speak more to this, but it really takes you through day to day. What are some things that you can reflect on? What some time that, teachers can take very quickly to rebalance, get nourished. And there's just a lot of wisdom and compassion. You are compassionate, and you invite your clients and your readers to be compassionate with themselves as well. And we're not saying that you've got the secret sauce to being the perfect teacher, because it doesn't exist. There's no perfection. But your experience and what you've learned and gained will really help your readers. So speak a little bit about the structure of the book and how our teachers, and if you know a teacher, listen up, because it's, I think, isn't May like Teacher Appreciation Week or month or something? So yeah.
Right, I think.
Yeah. So
And that was the goal. When I created the vision for this book, working with Renee, and also somebody else that I worked with as an editor, because Renee was my writing coach.
You can name her too.
Okay, Jenna Schwartz. She was my editor, and in working with Renee and Jenna in different times, I decided I wanted to be strategic about the date that the book came out. I really wanted to get in as many teachers' hands as possible. Before I talk about the structure, can I just go back to talking about that imperfection piece?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what a lot of people don't know is that and I don't even know if Renee knows this, I actually started writing excerpts for this book back in 2008. I had just gone through a separation. I had filed for a divorce, and I was not showing up as a good teacher all the time. Now, we can't show up all the time, but I definitely had a lot going on. And so I started writing excerpts about what is it like to be a teacher, and how can I center myself so I can better show up for my students. And I noticed that not every period, I was a high school teacher at the time, but there were times where I was not showing up. I even had a student yell at me, a student who knew about my private life, yell at me in the middle of class, "Miss Safran, just because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean you need to take it out on us." Now, what he didn't know was I wasn't upset about the divorce in the moment, but I was definitely having some stuff.
Right.
And so I wasn't as patient as I could have been. I wasn't as loving and caring as they knew I had been. And so he was right. I couldn't say he was right because it wasn't the right topic, but he was right. And so I started thinking about, how am I showing up for my students? And how am I expecting them to show up for me if I'm not showing up in that same way, or at least trying to? So I started writing these excerpts, and then fast forward, there was a lot that happened in between 2008 and when I started working on this again a year and a half ago, but the whole landscape changed because of COVID. And when I was talking with Renee, I had a few books that are on my plate to write, and that I had started. And I thought, you know what, I think I need this one. I think the world needs this one. I think teachers need this one. So when I was in college, I had a psychology teacher, and he was a family therapist, couples and family therapist. And when he told us that he was on his 5th marriage, a few people, including myself, laughed. Because we're thinking, how can you be a couples coach when you're on your 5th marriage? And then we realized, damn, he's had some experience. He could talk about his successes and his failures.
Right.
That's where he was coming from. That's why he admitted that he was in his 5th marriage. So I want people to know I'm not and wasn't a perfect teacher. And I don't expect you to be either. Right? So I know teachers are burdened with a lot of staff development, trainings, especially new teachers, with things you got to do. So I did not write this book for you to read it all at once. In fact, please do not. Okay. There are 53 stories, 53 weeks in the year. You're not teaching all 53 weeks. You have vacations. Okay. So that means you don't have to read the book in a school year. You could take 2 school years. But what I implore you to do is read one story. There are journaling questions that you'll see So at the end of a story, for example, here, week 6, usually 6 weeks into the school year, you're still in heaven, still enjoying yourself. So maybe you read this in May, or no, maybe you read it in February. Okay, you can read it out of
The longest, shortest month.
well, right, or March, the longest month, right? Week 6, am I in the right place? Should I still be teaching? Right? But you read the little story. Look how little it is, 2 paragraphs. And you read the reflection questions. And then there's journaling space. Okay. And you write about it. And as you think about it, as you marinate it, as you take it into your heart and your soul, walk through the entire work week with this concept, with this in mind, and journal some more. And at the end of the day, of each day, actually, I have it at the beginning. There's a positivity chart. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, every morning, day 1, right? So maybe that's Monday. And I actually did do 7 days because Saturdays and Sundays are important. It doesn't have to be about teaching. But in the morning, one thing you wish for yourself for today. And it can be just one thing you wish, or it could be one thing you wish based on a challenge you had the day before. Okay. I know that Monday mornings were hard for me. I had to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire September to get me driving to school. And then usually when I sat in the parking lot, because some days were harder than others, I'd have to call my mom to help me get out of the car and into the classroom. So I love teaching. I didn't love working with my administrators. I didn't always enjoy the parents who were helicopters, but there were also parents I loved and administrators I loved. So anyways, you start the day with one wish you have for yourself. And then at night, a quick little one positive memory from the day. What is that went well? What's something that made you feel good? And then at the end of the week, you can set an intention that says, woohoo, we completed 1 week of teaching. And you can set an intention for the next week. And that's it. Take one week at a time, go through the table of contents, choose it to be whatever week you want. You don't have to follow any order. Definitely please read the intro. Okay, because that's important. And it'll help you identify how to use it. And then the final thing I just want to mention that I keep forgetting is that when you purchase the book, or when you give the gift of this book to a teacher, let them know that if they register the book on my website, and there's a page in the back of the book, they can download audio and written transcriptions of meditations that they can use that I've created.
Beautiful.
So those will be online as of June. I'm waiting for the onslaught of purchases to happen. But really, I really, really want to focus on the slow pace of all of this, not urgency. There's no urgency to finish this book. I really want people to consume, digest, marinate, process, and not push through this book.
I love that. What a beautiful invitation too, because so much of the job of teaching and professional developments and all the places and spaces in which we have to get things done are under these time constraints and time blocks. And
we don't get to process those afterwards. You can be an 8-hour staff development day, and if you're going to process it, where's the time to do that? And then you learn 5 or 6 things. I can't do all 5 or 6 things tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Myra just said, I think your book would make a great Mother's Day gift. She's not wrong.
Oh, not wrong at all. Thank you. Well, just so you know, this is a precursor to other books to come. So the next book is A Leader's Companion, How to Center Empathy and Emotional Well-Being in the Workplace for you and your organization. So it's coming. Renee's
I love it. You're on fire, Misha.
But empathy is really important. We need more empathy in the world for ourselves and for others.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, one more quick thing, because I really want to highlight what's happening on Sunday. I'm so excited about it. This is your book launch party. So what's happening Sunday, what time, and then I'll make sure that we get the links to register in the comments here.
All right. So Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, y'all are going to have to figure out the time zones. Going to be hosting a virtual book launch party and reading. And so we're going to start with basically a playful, low stress icebreaker. We will enjoy a moment of silence together. I will do a land acknowledgement, a value statement, and also acknowledging the people in the world who are suffering, whether it be from physical ailments, injustice, mental health, or loss. We're going to participate in an intention setting activity for the hour and a half. I will read from my book a few excerpts and give some people some opportunity to journal on it, whether you're a teacher or not. There'll be an opportunity to journal, and hopefully we'll have created a safe and brave enough space for people who wish to share out loud the reflections that have come up for them. And then I'm going to ask for a pledge to either buy my book for yourself or buy my book for a teacher that you really love and admire, or for a teacher who you haven't necessarily loved and admired, that you feel might want some, just a loving, compassionate friend to say, hey, I was thinking about you. You don't need to say why. Here's a book I'd like to give you.
I love that. And actually, that's like a really great way to reframe, right? When there's conflict, one of the best ways to address and communicate when things aren't really working well is to nurture and love through the process of figuring out ways to work together better.
Yeah.
And so I love that you said that, because as like cheeky as it is, right, there's also some real foundational truth that it's in support of understanding that sometimes the reasons why things aren't working so well is because everybody's stressed out to the max.
Yeah. Well, and I have a story in the book that highlights a situation I had with a family. And if I hadn't been able to be gracious with them, they wouldn't have been able to be gracious with me, perhaps, but maybe they would have. But there's a story in the book around that. I won't spoil it. But as you said, Renee, there are a lot of people. Our teachers are humans too. They make mistakes. Some of them have been in the business too long, or some of them haven't been treated well by their administration. So it's a trickle-down effect, right? Some of them are going through personal challenges. And no, it's no excuse to treat students a certain way. But where do they get the love? Where can you find in your heart an opportunity to support them?
Yeah.
I've tried to work on this idea of, assuming best intentions. People went into teaching for good intentions. I want to assume that they went into teaching for good intentions. And so the community has to come together and support them. I used to tell one of my administrators, it's not that they want to be a bad teacher, but they don't have the support.
Yeah.
They need, if you're going to hire, because I was actually on a hiring committee at one point, and I said, students are going to eat that teacher up. Well, I was the only one on the committee that decided not to hire that person. And so that person got hired, and that person was floundering.
Yeah.
So I'd tell my administrator, you can't hire people without giving them the support they need. And I'm not talking about lots of classes and trainings.
No.
It could be one thing that they work on this week, but it also means they need love from the community, because the students are eating up.
Right.
Students don't feel safe. They don't feel so this isn't not in my book, but I ended up using my prep hour for weeks on end to go in and just sit in that classroom for that teacher, just to observe and watch and pay attention. And occasionally go teach. But anyways, that was an extension too. There are teachers that really could just use an extra little token of love. And I think the hard part for me, which Renee and I were talking about before the interview, so the way Amazon and the world has things set up is, in order for a book to get a lot of attention, to get visibility, is to become a bestseller. And in order to become a bestseller, everybody has to buy the book on the same day.
On the same day.
Same day. So this is why people, and myself included, my bonus mom caught on, and she did it for her poetry book, which was really cool. She did become a bestseller for a day. It was really neat. But
yeah, mine was a bestseller for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Co-authored
So
book.
it's the weirdest thing. I don't need to say I'm a bestseller author. It does feel kind of cool to say that. And especially since I'm promoting this event that's going to create bestseller, but whatever. The goal though, is if you do buy the book on the same day, if everybody buys the book on Sunday, it can then reach bestseller level. And what that means for me is that it's more visible, so that people can see it and buy it for teachers who need it.
Yeah.
Really,
I
that's
agree.
the bottom line. I'm not going to get more money because it becomes a bestseller. I mean, yeah, I get more money when the book sells, but I'm not going to become
Right.
a
But the
millionaire. And that's
title,
not my
yeah.
intention. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really about that visibility. And so that you can, create the ripple effect of knowing more people will know it's there and it's a great resource for them and a gift to the teachers who need it.
Yeah. And I'm excited to announce I've already sold 10 copies. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I think it's just, if anything, I just want people to enjoy and get what they need out of it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm super excited to join you on Sunday. I'm super excited to celebrate with you. And it sounds like, Sunday's going to be a really beautiful, interactive, and mindful experience. And that just sounds also very lovely.
I'm looking
Take
forward
a
to it. I don't have to make it a big show. It doesn't have to be that.
No. And then we all get to, buy your book and amp up that bestseller list and get this amazing teacher's companion into the hands of all the amazing teachers out there who have stuck it out, are doing the work, are in the classroom day in and day out. We're sending them so much love. We're sending you all so much love in the Rebel Writers. We're sending Misha's shoulder so much love. And wishing you, of course, all the best in your book launch on Sunday and the days afterward as you continue to spread your compassion and empathy throughout the world for all who need it. So thank you so much, Misha, for being here.
Thank you. I love you. You're a good friend. Thanks, everybody. Looking
Thanks,
forward
everybody.
on
Good night,
Sunday.
Rebel.
Oh, you're going to put the link to RSVP for the book launch in the.
I am. It's in the
Okay.
chat as we speak. Hopefully it'll stay there, but I'll post it again if it disappears for some reason. We have that
Yeah,
issue.
please register. Everybody's free. You don't have to pay
Yeah.
to come to the book launch.
Free event. Come hang out with us on Sunday.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
Zoom.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.